Matt Lauer wasn't the only media figure who lost their job today over reports of sexual misconduct. We also have Minnesota Public Radio's Garrison Keillor, who also had all business ties to that organization severed earlier today. This is the creator and retired host of A Prairie Companion, who'd hosted that show for several decades. I was not personally, did not know about this person, but apparently very high profile. He said earlier today that he has been fired by Minnesota Public Radio over allegations of what the network called improper behavior. And eventually later on in the day put out a statement about some information. Earlier, he had said that this is a more interesting and complicated situation than they know, that he had some sort of private information. Well, now we have a little bit of that information. He said this: I meant, talking about one woman, I meant to pat her back after she told me about her unhappiness, and her shirt was open and my hand went up it about 6 inches. She recoiled, I apologized. I sent her an email of apology later and she replied that she had forgiven me and not to think about it. We were friends, we continued to be friendly right up until her lawyer called. And he continued saying, if I had $1 for every woman who asked to take a selfie with me and who slipped an arm around me and let it drift down below the belt line, I'd have at least $100. So this is poetic irony of a high order, but I'm just fine. I had a good long run and I'm grateful for it and for everything else.
So impossible to know. So the Matt Lauer story that also came out today seems fairly clear, with the button under the desk to lock the door when somebody comes in and dropping his pants, etc. I don't know if Garrison Keillor is telling the whole truth there about just, hey, it was an innocent pat on the back. If he is, then I'm on his side. But that's only one side of a story, and if lawyers will tell you, the only thing worse than no sides of a story is one side of a story. And so we haven't heard out the woman or women, I don't know in this case. So it might be worse than that. And by the way, yeah, just because your ass has been grabbed doesn't mean you're allowed to grab other people's asses.
That's weird logic.
Yeah.
To think that that becomes acceptable.
Look, I understand what he's saying. He's like, look, it's not like I went to prosecute those 100 women who grabbed my ass. Yes, but that's your prerogative. You chose not to do that. That doesn't mean that you get to do it to others.
Exactly. Now, timing-wise, we don't know for sure that this was the thing that spurred the accusations against him. But I believe 2 days ago, he did publish an article. The article is, Al Franken should resign, that's absurd. And one section, I'm not gonna read the entire thing, you can find it, but one section of that opinion piece reads, on the flight home, in a spirit of low comedy, Al ogled Miss Tweeden and pretended to grab her and a picture was taken. 11 years later, a talk show host in LA, she goes public and there's talk of resignation. This is pure absurdity, and the atrocity it leads to is a code of public deadliness. No kidding. That's a strong take on that. And it does appear, these are not causal things, but very often some of these men, especially in media, who have been found to have engaged in sexual misconduct, will have spoken out against women who make accusations in the past. I mean, I believe, I'm not gonna say specifics, but I believe that there were some other cases of that, and this is apparently one of them. It could be that they're feeling, when they see these accusations being made, when they're seeing careers being ended, they start to think back on their past and they wonder if theoretically they could be the next one.
No, in this case, he was. Whether he's right that it was unjust for Franken and himself, or he's completely wrong and they both did it a number of times. In the case of Franken, I don't know if the editorial came out before or after we found out there were 2, 3, 4 women who claimed, had other claims against him, including, again, grabbing their ass, etc. And we can't adjudicate all these, so I don't know. I do know of what appeared to be a more innocent time of the kind of times that he talked about at Prairie Home, but it turns out those times were not more innocent. In a lot of ways, they were more guilty. We just didn't know about it. So now we do, and then he reacts like, damn it, why are we going on this witch hunt?
Yeah.
And some people will be wrongly accused and it will be terrible, and if he was complaining about that, he'd be right. But if it turns out that he did do it, and now we know that Franken did do it on several occasions, then it's not a terrible thing. It's a disinfectant. It's a light that shows you what was going on when we were pretending that everything was fine back at Prairie Home. If you like this video, bless your heart. We got a lot more where that came from. We do a full show every day, Monday through Friday. Come enjoy it ad-free by becoming a member. tytnetwork.com/join.